Beautiful jewelry says so much about you. It says you have good taste and enjoy nice things, that you appreciate beauty as well as the world around you. The Ocean Rhyme Shop on Etsy, online at oceanrhyme.etsy.com, carry handcrafted Baroque pearl jewelry that's stunning and unique, just like you. They make gorgeous pearl pieces like earrings, bracelets, necklaces, and a whole lot more. Everything at oceanrhyme.etsy.com is lovely and sparkly, perfect for yourself or someone you care about as a gift. Artist Julia creates the most stunning pearl pieces. You will love the jewelry you buy from oceanrhyme.etsy.com. Each piece is made with care and is very special. Whether you want black pearls, golden South Sea pearls, Tahitian pearls, or freshwater pearls, you will find it at oceanrhyme.etsy.com. They have a wide variety to choose from. Before you shop for jewelry or gifts anywhere else, be sure to visit oceanrhyme.etsy.com. Share the link on all of your social media so your friends can discover the shop too. oceanrhyme.etsy.com. oceanrhyme.etsy.com.
You are listening to the Brian Craig Show podcast, broadcasting from sunny South Florida. Brian is joined by his wife and co-host, Kathy. Follow Brian on social media at briancraigshow.com. And now, Brian and Kathy.
Welcome to the program, everyone. I'm Brian Craig, always joined by my wife and co-host Kathy. Thanks for tuning in, everyone. We certainly appreciate it. Well, finally, John Durham, they have a second charge, right? They got a guy a while back, Durham. They've charged someone new. And we'll read through this story. And I've talked a lot over the past year that I started to think that Durham didn't exist, right? We have that one old picture of him. We don't see him. Mm-hmm. There's like nothing on this guy, and nothing ever happens. And then this, I read through the details of the story, but this really burns me. This is the Durham investigation has been going on, I don't know how long, 2 years, 3, a long time, right? It's had to be at least 3, maybe longer, but at least 3. Durham has charged someone. Here it is, Fox News headline. Durham charges Steele dossier subsource with 5 counts of making false statements to the FBI. Okay, that's a crime. I'm glad someone's getting busted for the dossier. But why are they getting arrested for lying to the FBI as opposed to...
Yeah, that doesn't make sense.
...putting together this false intelligence information to undermine a president of the United States, Donald Trump? His name is Danchenko.
This is what I understand. If you get charged with lying to the FBI, then why don't you get charged with the crime that you lied about?
Yeah.
I'm so confused.
Yeah.
So this is how it works. You go in for questioning and you get charged for lying to them during your interrogation. So if you lied about something, okay, like if you go to the police and they interview you and you lie about killing somebody.
That's a crime to lie.
It's a crime to lie, but isn't it also a crime to kill somebody?
It's a bigger crime, yeah.
Right. So how come these people that lie to the feds don't get charged with a crime that they're lying about?
Well,
it seems strange to me.
In this case, my guess would be they don't want to charge anybody with the larger crime of the dossier and what they were doing because they don't want to open up that can of worms because it was the Hillary Clinton campaign that commissioned the dossier.
Right.
So why is this guy getting charged, but Hillary Clinton's team that commissioned this is not?
Good question.
Here's the story. Now, again, this is Fox News. Federal agents arrested the primary subsource. I've never even heard that before. What is a subsource?
I don't know.
Who contributed to the unverified anti-Trump dossier Thursday as part of special counsel John Durham's investigations into the origin of the probe into whether the Trump campaign colluded with Russia to influence the 2016 election. Danchenko's arrest is linked to a federal grand jury indictment in the U.S. District Court of the Eastern District of Virginia. Durham is charging Danchenko, a Russian citizen residing in Virginia. Well, wait a minute. Hillary Clinton's campaign commissioned the dossier. This guy's Russian. Does that mean Hillary was colluding with Russians?
Sounds like it to me.
He's been charged with 5 counts of making false statements to the FBI. The charges stemmed from statements Danchenko made relating to the sources he used in providing information to an investigative firm in the United Kingdom. Danchenko was scheduled to make his first court appearance Thursday afternoon. He's believed to be the subsource for former British intelligence officer Christopher Steele, who compiled the dossier that served as the basis for the FISA warrants against Trump. See, this is the thing. They use this phony dossier to get FISA warrants, which is through the Patriot Act, to spy on President Trump. He was candidate then.
Which Obama spied on him, so what was his involvement?
Yeah, to spy on President Trump's home in Trump Tower, because that's where he lived at the time, and his campaign headquarters. And the reason they were doing that is because he was doing so well, they couldn't get anything on him in the press, so they were spying on him with these FISA warrants to try to find dirt to use against him in the campaign. And,
isn't this illegal?
Yeah, and I believe they should all be in jail.
I mean,
these
it's just
Hillary
incredible
people.
to me. Trump has been impeached twice for accusations of much less. And this is incredible. You have somebody who is spying on their political opponent. And look at Joe Biden, what he did over with the Ukraine.
Well, they had to.
It's just incredible to me. And what Trump did, he didn't even do. I mean, somebody actually sat in a room, and Hillary, I'm sure, and Obama maybe, and concocted this nonsense. I mean, what kind of a sick person actually comes up with this fake story of a dossier with the golden showers? What kind of a person does that and makes all this up? I mean, it really shows you a level of depravity. Probably the golden showers was probably Bill Clinton's idea.
Well, they were spying on the campaign headquarters at Trump Tower, which is also his home, fishing for information. I believe they probably got the Access Hollywood thing out of that because they probably overheard them talking about, well, what are some things that might come up? They probably heard the thing about that Miss Universe that he said he called her Miss Piggy. They probably got that from this FISA warrants too. The dossier was funded by the Democratic National Committee and Hillary Clinton's presidential campaign through the law firm Perkins Cole. According to the indictment, in March, May, June, October, and November of 2017, Danchenko made false statements regarding the sources of certain information that he provided to a UK investigative firm that was then included in reports prepared by the UK investigative firm and passed on to the FBI. In June 2017, false statement counts alleges that Danchenko denied he had spoken with a particular individual about material information contained in one of the company reports that he knew was untrue.
I mean, so he lies about who he talked to, but he still, like you said, is not being charged with any crime. He's just being charged with lying about his source.
These are what they call process crimes. These are technicality crimes. You know, this is pretty
strange.
This is pretty outrageous. This is pretty outrageous. And when you look at this, the real crime is that Hillary Clinton, the DNC, and others conspired to get false or fraudulent FISA warrants, that is from the FISA court, that is, was put together through the Patriot Act in front of a federal judge, because that's the FISA court, to spy on their opposition on a presidential campaign, President Trump's presidential campaign. Those are the crimes,
this
not
Patriot
Act
not these seems to be a problem.
Technicalities that are going on. It's pretty outrageous. And John Durham, I'm so disappointed. I thought when he came along, they said, oh no, he's big into prosecuting corrupt public officials. He has some experience with it up in somewhere, and he'll do. It's been like 3 years, and we're getting these process crimes that totally avoid what the real crime was, which was spying on Trump Tower.
This guy's like just a sacrificial lamb.
Yeah,
these people
we never heard of
at the top, they never pay for what they do. That's why they do this, because they constantly get away with it. I mean, it's like 007 has a license to kill. I mean, they just have a license to be corrupt.
Do whatever they want.
And do whatever they want.
That's
and there's no accountability.
No.
And there never will be.
None.
That's just the way it is. That's politics.
Yeah.
It's the nastiest business in the world. And it's amazing to me that Trump wants to get back into it, because I tell you what they put him through. But, I think what really motivates him is the love of the people. I think he really feels the love from the people when he goes to rallies and when he sees them lined up on the streets, and he doesn't want to let them down. He doesn't need to do this for himself. But I mean, he's competitive, and he wants to, give it another shot and be, and come out on top with this second run. And I think that's great. But I think what really motivates Trump is his love for America and trying to help the country, and his love for the American people.
Yeah. There's no doubt about it. Now, Biden just came back from this ridiculous climate summit, and they're all talking about global warming and everything. And right before we started the podcast, The mailman, well, it's a mail lady.
Right.
The mail lady, who's very grumpy. She never talks. She's.
I don't like our mail lady.
Our
She's
mail
not
lady.
very good.
No, she's always messing things up
Yeah.
and everything, and she's always grumpy. But anyway, the mail just came, and I guess it's just a generational thing. I always run out to the mailbox to see what's out there, and today is very typical of what we get in the mail. It's pretty much all junk mail.
Yeah.
I'm going to go through everything we received in the mail today. Okay? Everything.
This is typical of what we get every day.
Yeah. Now, the first piece, I wouldn't consider this junk mail. This actually could be helpful. The Kid's Guide to Leadership was sent to me.
Who's that from? Depends on who sent it.
I don't know. The kids, Everbright Media, thekidsguide.com. So this is like a political thing we got. It's like a comic book for
I think
kids.
that might be from
I think that, I sent for this. This is from Mike Huckabee.
Yeah.
He was advertising this on
Okay.
Newsmax. I sent for this. I'll read through that. Okay, so that's good. That's good. Now, but here's the next thing. You are getting an offer for a credit card. Trash.
The last thing I need.
Yeah. I'm getting an offer for a credit card.
No.
That's garbage too. What's this? This is our daughter getting an offer for a credit card.
Wow.
Let's put that in the garbage. Here is a here's a catalog. I guess you bought something from something.
I get that every Christmas from Shutterfly.
I don't know what Shutterfly is.
And that is an expensive catalog. Do people even look at catalogs anymore?
I don't know.
I used to really enjoy getting all the Christmas catalogs, and I would thumb through them, and sometimes I do, but
Yeah.
not like, remember they used to send out the big JCPenney?
Oh, I used to love those.
Had their big
And the
Christmas
Sears
catalog and the Sears. Those were awesome.
Okay, so we got this Shutterfly, whatever that is,
Yeah, it's
catalog.
trash.
And then the last thing is also a very expensive mailer from a local realtor wanting us to list our house for sale with him.
Oh, yeah, it's a good time to sell your house.
And he's
that's for
showing
sure.
how much the houses have sold for in our neighborhood
We'll
recently.
keep that. I'm going to look at that one.
We're not selling the house.
I know,
Gabby.
but I want to see what it. I want to see what it would go for right now.
The point of this, though, this is why I bring this up.
These are expensive wow.
Yeah. Well, this is why I bring this up. And I don't know, maybe it's different for you guys listening, but obviously this is all junk mail. This is all junk mail. This thing from Huckabee, I did send for this. It's a free guide just because I wanted to read through it. I saw him talking about it on Newsmax. But this is all junk mail. And, when they talk about climate change, global warming, how many trees died
Exactly.
for this mail? I don't know how many trees it takes to make this paper, but this has to be multiple trees to make. These are some
And it's a
huge
shame
things.
because it just goes in the garbage.
And the pollution from the car.
I guess we should recycle these.
The mail
that would probably
today,
be the right thing to do.
when we get mail out of them throughout the month, I bet you there are only 3 or 4 pieces of mail, if that many, maybe only 1 or 2, but certainly no more than 4 pieces of mail that we get each and every month that are not junk. The United States Post Office is kept alive by junk mail that is totally worthless. Most of the time, when I go through the mail, I don't even bring it in the house. Like today was our garbage day. I usually just throw it right in the garbage
trash.
can outside on the curb, but I brought it in because I wanted to talk
Everything's
about
electronic. You get your bills electronically. You get, if you do business with somebody, it's through emails or text messages. Or
Everything's
something.
paid online now.
It's just crazy.
So
There's
you guys,
no need for
you
it.
guys out there listening, let us know. Now think about this now. How many pieces of mail do you receive a month that you actually need? Like for example, if we get something from our auto insurance company, we pay that online. We don't need the actual thing mailed to us. And I'm thinking maybe 2, no more than 4 things come in the mail each month. You guys let us know how many pieces, you can let us know in the comments, how many pieces of mail do you receive a month that you actually
100.
need? That you actually need that's not junk mail.
This circular from the realtor is very interesting. 3 facts that I did not know.
Oh.
Inventory is at a record low right now. There are not enough homes available to meet the demand.
Everyone's moving
which
to
is
Florida.
pushing the prices up.
Yeah.
The average sale price since last year, how much do you think it's gone up?
I don't know.
15%.
Oh, and the home sales 15% up
in this neighborhood. And
since last year.
Yeah. And then the other one, just as a thing, he says he'll sell it at the best price or whatever. So, wow, 15% increase. That's probably I would say across the board in a lot of Florida, especially where we live, because in South Florida, it's like a very highly
we have the best
populated
weather.
area, and we live in a really great area
With the best weather.
with good schools, great weather. So I would think now Central Florida, Northern Florida, I don't know if Tallahassee's having the same skyrocketing real estate prices. I mean, you know, I went to school in Tallahassee, it's okay. But it's not South Florida where you're near the beach. And so that is amazing to me. It's a really good time to sell your house. We're not doing that, but if you live in South Florida.
Well, the problem is, the reason property prices are up is because Democrats in these states like Pennsylvania, Michigan,
Everybody's
California,
leaving them.
their residents have fled these Democrat states and they're coming to Florida.
So if you want to get a cheap house, go to Pennsylvania.
Yeah, well, I guess where no one wants to live.
That's right.
So the houses and rents are going through the roof, and people that are renters are having a big problem. And the problem with selling your house, okay, it's up 15% or even more. Our neighbor is selling their house for so much more than it's worth because there's such low inventory.
Yeah, he might get it too.
Yeah. But the problem is, if you sell your house at this inflated rate, you got to have somewhere else to live. So it's really lateral because whatever you would move to, if it's in Florida, is high too.
Right, but unless you move, a lot of people, which is incredible to me, leave Florida and move to like North Carolina,
That's insane.
Atlanta, and you can get a much bigger house for the price of what you pay here because you're paying for the location. You're near the beach. You're in a very highly populated area where there's a lot happening, a lot going on. The weather's fantastic. So a lot of people leave Florida and go, like I said, to North Carolina, Atlanta. I mean, in Atlanta, my best friend used to live in a town called Snellville, and I couldn't believe the house she got for like $150,000. It was like we stayed there. I mean, it was like 4,000 square foot, it was gorgeous with a basement. I'm like, oh my gosh. I said, you know what you can get for that in Florida?
Yeah, we have a small
maybe
house.
1,500 square feet.
Our house with the garage is 1,500 square feet.
Yeah,
that's including the garage. The house is like 1,200 square feet.
We've been here almost 20 years.
Yeah, but I include the garage, so I feel like I got a little bit of it. Now, Steve Kane has a huge 2-story house, but we got a little 1,500
His house
feet
is probably
with the garage.
worth a lot too.
Oh yeah, but problem, you know, this thing with real estate in Florida, it is amazing. And when you hear stories that people are leaving and coming to Florida, it is true.
It is true.
And one thing that's also interesting about it, Ron DeSantis keeps very close eye on this, and he talks about it. Mm-hmm. They come to Florida, and they have to register to vote in Florida, and overwhelmingly are registering Republican in Florida. That's
fantastic.
Which is very good because
keep coming.
My big fear is these people would flee California, Pennsylvania, wherever they're coming from, Michigan, and register as Democrats, and they are not.
No, I think they're fed up with the Democratic Party. But according to Nancy Pelosi, it's just, see, with the Democrats, whenever they're failing, it's not because their ideas are bad. It's because they're not selling it right. They're not packaging it right. And she even said that today. She said the American people, they just don't understand how good this bill is. They don't understand how good it is to help them. And once they understand that, they'll change their mind. No, the reason Terry McAuliffe lost in Virginia was because, well, there were several factors, but the main factor was because of him, because he said that parents had no right to decide what happened in the classroom. That was the beginning of the end for that guy. I think if he had never said that, I don't know if he would have won, but it would have been very, very close, maybe 1%. I mean, Youngkin beat him by 3 points, which is pretty good. But I think if Terry McAuliffe had never said those words, it might have been a much closer margin. But I think when he said that, combined with what happened with that father with the daughter that got raped in the bathroom, I think those things and what was happening in the schools just really set off that his statement was the catalyst. And I think a lot of people that were planning on voting for him, once he said that, they're like, well, screw that guy. Because let me tell you something, you don't mess with people's kids. That is the one thing that people are going to draw the line with when it affects their children like that. When you tell parents that they have no right what happens in their kids' school, I think that him saying that was the beginning of the end. Don't you think? I think it was mostly his doing. I don't think it was this bill, and I don't even know if it was CRT in particular. That was
critical
part of
race
it.
Theory.
But I think what he said there, in my opinion, was what did him in.
Well, first off,
I really do. And he doubled down on it. I really think that's what did him in.
Be very careful. Do not say CRT. Say critical race theory.
Oh, okay.
Okay, because the Democrats and the liberal media are saying CRT all the time. So we don't say critical race theory.
Like KFC?
So they don't want people to know what they're talking about.
Right.
They're trying to rebrand it.
They might change the acronym meaning.
Yeah, no, they're trying to rebrand it and
That's
calling
what they
it
do.
CRT. Like
That's what they do.
Kentucky Fried Chicken went to KFC because they thought if they took fried out of the name
exactly
and said KFC, people would know it was fried chicken.
That's right. It's a rebranding.
Yeah.
It's a marketing tactic.
Yeah.
And liberals are big into rebranding, repackaging. It's the same garbage. They just put it in a different container.
Like climate change used to be global warming.
Exactly.
That didn't work because the weather didn't agree with them, so they changed it to climate change. Listen, we're going to take a break. When we get back, got a message here, a DM on the Twitter from a listener. I'm going to read to you. You're going to love this one. And we got a lot more to talk about, too. I'm Brian, always joined by my wife and co-host Kathy. We'll be back right after this.
From author Joe Mott comes the book Interstellar Warfare, available on Amazon. It's the year 2435. Anthony Dawkins yearns for a life of his own. He joins the Unified Coalition Space Operations Army in a desperate attempt to secure an independent life for both himself and his sister, away from the stubborn control of his parents. With insurrectionist forces threatening all the coalition holds dear, Anthony is sent to the stars to fight against the same enemy responsible for bombing his home city. But after his first deployment reveals that the insurrectionists are only a small part of a much larger plot, Anthony and his fellow soldiers are thrust into the largest interstellar war in history, seemingly overnight. With the coalition in chaos, Anthony must not only keep his promise to return to his sister, but also fulfill his oath to defend the coalition, her colonies, and her citizens. Interstellar Warfare provides a well-balanced experience of action and sentiment because it explores the brutality of war and the importance of family in a sci-fi military setting. Visit interstellar-warfare.com to find a free blog that expands on the book Interstellar Warfare from author Joe Mott. Available on Amazon. Order your copy today. Available in Kindle and paperback. Interstellar Warfare. War always changes. From author Alana Sharps comes the book, Was It My Fault? Available online at SureThriveTribe.com. That's S-U-R. Life in an abusive relationship isn't something we ever think about until it happens to us. We grow up believing it could never happen, telling ourselves that's something that happens to other people. In Was It My Fault? Author Alana Sharps chronicles her life journey from an abusive relationship to fighting to get her life back in the aftermath of taking a stand. While not a pretty story, this raw account is meant to help anyone who is living in this near impossible situation navigate the sometimes confusing road ahead. Whether it be the legal system or beyond, author Alana Sharps knows it would have been helpful to have a roadmap to help her navigate this treacherous terrain. It's her hope that this book, her story, and her journey will provide inspiration, help you create a roadmap to the next chapter in your life, and provide you with the tools you need to succeed on the other side of an abusive relationship. Was It My Fault? From author Alana Sharps. Available online at SureThriveTribe.com. That's Sir, S-U-R, SureThriveTribe.com. There's a podcast that you will want to add to your playlist, Warriors for Christ. That's the number 4. Warriors for Christ is a Christian podcast providing biblical teaching without the doctrines of man. In other words, they like to let the Bible explain itself. The format includes non-denominational readings and teachings from the Bible. They also have interviews and whatever the Lord puts on their hearts to present. Life in this world can be very stressful and filled with anxieties. Warriors for Christ will give you the biblical information you need to help deal with all life has to bring. Warriors for Christ confronts many false doctrines which are pervasive in this age and what some call the church in a box. And they also offer a full gospel ministry. Find Warriors for Christ on Podomatic, Apple Podcast, Google Podcast, Player FM, Stitcher, Deezer, Amazon Podcast, and Spotify. Warriors for Christ. Share the podcast on all of your social media so your friends can listen to Warriors for Christ. That's the number 4. Add it to your playlist right now.
You are listening to the Brian Craig Show podcast, broadcasting from sunny South Florida. Brian is joined by his wife and co-host, Kathy. Follow Brian on social media at BrianCraigShow.com. And now, Brian and Kathy.
Hey guys, welcome back. I'm Brian, always joined by my wife and co-host Kathy. thanks so much, everyone, for tuning in. By the way, in the description below, you will see a link to all my different social media platforms and, oh boy, what else do I got there? My website, everything else, my Linktree link. And one of them is Twitter. And I got a DM from Twitter. I'm going to read to you guys. The best way to get in touch with me is DM me on Twitter. Okay. Because I don't know. I'm on Twitter more than I'm on a lot of other things. And I check those DMs a little bit more often because of that. So if you ever want to reach me, Twitter is a great way to do it. And if you follow me on Twitter, Brian Craig Show on Twitter, but it's in my Linktree link in the description of this and every episode, all my show prep is on Twitter. And what I do when I'm going through the news and reading articles, I tweet them, and that's my stack of stuff. And in the old days, I used to print everything up and read the articles after I printed them up on paper. It was a lot of paper, and it was a headache. Now I just tweet them, and I go through when I'm doing the podcast or I'm on the radio, I just go through my Twitter feed. So all of my show prep for both the podcast and the radio show are on my Twitter feed. All right. So that's a place where you should go. Brian Craig Show on the Twitter. But anyway, I just got a message today from someone I wanted to share with you. Michael. He said, "You're full of S, Brian." Got the whole word there. I'm not going to say it. "You effed up." Now, he didn't spell out the F word. He put F star, and then he spelled out the rest. "You're so full of yourself. You can't admit you made a mistake. Not cool, dude." Okay, so, I mean, what's with all the profanities there, Michael? I mean, I don't quite get that. You're a little upset with me. Well, whatever. What happens, ever since I've been on the radio, I've dealt with criticism. When they say people that are actors, they deal with rejection all the time? Mm-hmm. That's what it's like in radio. And I was telling this to Kathy. I started live streaming on the radio, I don't know, many years ago. Before I started live streaming on Ustream, which I don't even know exists, and that was on Periscope. Now I'm on YouTube, which you guys should follow me on YouTube because I'm always on YouTube. And then we've been podcasting now for 9 years, going on 10 soon. And what happened, and this was an interesting thing to me, and this is one of the reasons I started live streaming and everything, is I went to a music festival with our daughter when she was, I don't know, like middle school, like 8th grade, 9th grade or something like that. And it was a very strange experience. These were top name acts for people that age, for kids that age. This one band got up that I'd even seen on TV. And then when they were done with their set, another band came up and they came in the audience, right? While the other group was singing, and they were taking selfies with fans and talking. And I thought it was so strange. I'd never seen anything like this at a concert. And our daughter was telling me, well, that's what it's like now because of social media, fans of musicians expect interaction. Mm-hmm. And it wasn't that way when we were growing up. And so I started doing things.
I wish.
Yeah, I do too. All those concerts I went to, oh man, that would have been awesome. So that got me thinking. So I got more interactive with the audience through social media and through live streaming. And I get, I do get feedback nonstop. When I'm on the radio in the mornings and I live stream on YouTube, Brian Craig on YouTube, it's a very strange experience that most people, I think, would have a very difficult time doing. And let me explain how this works. When I'm on the radio, I'm live streaming on YouTube, okay, and I have a live chat room. And I live stream on my iPhone. I have an iPhone 12 Pro, and the chat is over my screen, like over me, and so I'm on the air talking. I've been doing this for years, and I've got the chat room going on in front of me, and a lot of it is pretty hardcore criticism of everything I do. It could be the part in my hair. People are telling me, you know what I mean? Sometimes it's my coffee. Sometimes it's the way I'm standing, and I'm used to it now. But it's such a strange thing getting this. Sometimes it's the topic, the subject matter, a particular position I take. It would be so weird for most of you. Like, say you work in an office or you're an Uber driver. Could you imagine, as an Uber or Lyft driver, if in front of you on your windshield was a live chat room with thousands of people watching you live, driving your Lyft, and commenting on your driving. It'd be a little distracting, wouldn't it? So that's how it is with me. But I do enjoy your feedback, and I do appreciate it. And you don't have to send me anonymous DMs. I'll read them. You can join me in my chat room and tell me to my face when I'm live streaming. You know what I mean?
Or call in.
You could call me on the radio and reach out to me. But you guys that don't follow me on YouTube yet, you definitely should. Brian Craig on YouTube. I don't just live stream on the radio in the morning. I upload the podcast with Kathy on my YouTube channel. And also I travel around sometimes and make vlogs that I upload there. Sometimes I live stream. Like this past Saturday, I was live streaming the sunrise on Fort Lauderdale Beach. It was dark until the sun rose all the way. So follow me on YouTube. I think you will enjoy it. All right. So the Democrats got completely creamed. I mean, just completely creamed. And
well, it's scaring them because this is another guy who was a businessman who came out of nowhere. He's not part of the political machine, and he won. He beat somebody that was part of the swamp. And, Nancy Pelosi comes out and talks about how Terry McAuliffe is, has deep connections to the Clintons. And that's the problem. They don't understand. They think that people idolize them.
That's correct.
And that they're rock stars and people love them.
That's right.
People have had enough. They're fed up with these career politicians that are so out of touch. They're just fed up with everything. Mm-hmm. And they're giving other people a chance. You had this one guy in this one election, I can't remember what it was, a local thing, and he spent $150.
Oh, the truck driver.
The truck driver on a campaign. He beat a guy that spent millions.
And the
people
guy
are
he
just
beat,
sick of this crap.
And the guy he beat was one of the statewide Democrat Party bosses.
These things are not insignificant. These little races, believe me, the Democrats, what they're projecting outwardly is not what's happening behind closed doors. Behind closed doors, they are freaking out. And they know they're losing their grip. And the problem with that for them is the more they lose, the more they're going to tighten their grip. Mm-hmm. And they're not learning from their mistakes. They're going to double down and they're going to tighten their grip even more on the American people because they're losing control and they're losing their power. And all these little races there was another little race in Washington, which is probably one of the most liberal states in the country. And they unseated some longtime Democrat there, some Republican guy, I think, in Seattle with something on the local government. These things are happening, and the more that happens, the more other people that are just regular citizens. That is what America is supposed to be. It's supposed to be regular citizens running for office to make their town, their city, their state, their country better. It is not supposed to be these ensconced swamp creatures that never freaking leave DC and that are just so corrupt and so out of touch. The country was built on everyday citizens trying to make the country a better place. And I hope more people step up and don't poo-poo these local small elections. You start at the local level. These things make a difference. People that are Republicans should be running for school boards, and they should be getting involved on a very local level. You don't have to be the governor to make a change. Run for a state rep or run for some local city job, councilman, or a school board. Don't be afraid. If you want to make a change, that's how you do it. This is the right time to do it now. It's everybody's really ripe and really looking for somebody to come along that's going to bring things back to normalcy. And it's a good time to do these things. You can see it because it's happening all over the country now. It's a really good time to run for something.
Joe Scarborough.
There's a change a-coming.
Joe Scarborough, I know he's a creep, and James Carville, he's another piece of work, Both James Carville and Scarborough both said today that this wokeism is what did him in. And Carville was ticked about it. He went off on it, James Carville, today. And, the Democrats have been taken over by children like AOC, and not just AOC and the squad, that even behind the scenes that are working for all of these staffers. Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. These staffers that work for all these different elected officials are all AOCs. And
they just don't get it. Brian.
Joe Manchin, Democrat, but Joe Manchin said that he believes the country's mostly center-right. And I agree with that. And center-right means not liberal, not conservative, in the center, but leans to the right.
I agree.
And I would say even Donald Trump is center-right because he supports gay rights and things like this.
Yeah, I totally agree with that.
In the Republicans, during the Clinton era, when the Republicans weren't doing as well, I know Newt Gingrich had the Contract for America, but then he was out, and then there were problems with the speaker after that, or the Livingston, who didn't become speaker. You guys can look all that up. But the Republicans weren't doing so well during the Clinton era. Mm-hmm. And the reason that is because the Christian coalition and again, we're Christians, and we're strongly pro-life and everything else, Kathy.
They kind of grabbed a hold of the Republican Party.
Don't misunderstand what I'm saying here, but the Christian coalition was an activist group of Christians, very far to the right, on a lot of issues, and
that hurt the Republican Party.
That's why the Republicans didn't do so well during the Clinton era. Yeah, because having activists running the agenda of a party,
right? That's true.
Turns people off. And right now, the Democrats are dealing with that hardcore. And this country, one of the things President Trump did was this silent majority. President Reagan used to talk about it. President Trump talks about it, and most people in this country want the federal government out of their life. They don't mind, having a little. They pay their taxes. They do their thing, but what they see, there's two things going on: the media and the government, which are one and the same. They see snobby arrogance from the media, all right, and then from the government, all they see is overreaching control. Like Biden today is talking about fining.
Yeah, I was just going to read this.
Individual businesses, small businesses, $14,000 per employee.
Incredible.
Who doesn't follow the mandate.
It says here there's a new mandate. I mean, this is incredible to me. This is such a bad idea. Biden's COVID-19 vaccine mandate begins January 4th with hefty fines for non-compliance. Large employers with 100-plus workers must mandate vaccines and/or weekly testing and masks for those who refuse the vaccine. OSHA plans to send out agents, this is incredible, to check that workplaces are in compliance with the rule. This is not going to go over well. Remember when they sent health inspectors to restaurants? Yeah. And remember how that went over? This is going to happen. Mm-hmm. For willful violations, a company can be fined up to $136,000. The standard penalty is $13,600 for a single violation. So you're right, Brian. This is how they're going to pay for their stimulus. The government knows, the liberals know how to take advantage of every situation to make money out of every single. They just want to bleed you dry. Yeah. This is incredible to me. This is such an overreach. And another thing that's going to happen that the Democrats are going to do that's going to end up costing them votes in 20. It is going to be.
It's insane.
They said behind the scenes, they had that one guy from the polling place that he talked to one of McCullough's head guys, and he said that election was a bloodbath. They're going to see another bloodbath next year because their policies are so bad. This is going to destroy a lot of businesses, and people are definitely. This is not going to go over well, and this is going to really, I think, ensure. I mean, so many people have been vaccinated by now or had COVID. The numbers are going. There's no need for this. I could have seen maybe a year ago.
And there's no
need for this in January right now. Not good timing.
These are small businesses.
Yeah, 100 or more employees.
14,000 per employee. Small businesses that are still in business are lucky to be in business after the shutdowns and lockdowns.
I think they want to put them out of business.
Now, I want to thank our Patreon supporters for their support of the program. Thank you guys so much for all your support. It is greatly appreciated. And our top Patreon supporters get a live on-air thank you on each and every episode. So all the names you are about to hear are our top Patreon supporters. I want to thank Andrew and Connie, Christine, Gary, ETW, Chuck, Nick, Rich, Rick, Pamela, Paul, Dee, and Jacklyn. These are our top Patreon supporters. And if you would like to support the show, becoming a Patreon supporter is a great opportunity for you to do that. There's a link to our Patreon page in the description of this and every episode. And there's also a direct link to our Patreon page at briancraigshow.com. All right, we'll take a quick break and be right back.
Now available wherever books are sold. Who okayed this? The Riveting Life of Grant Davis. The author is using a pseudonym because there have been several attempts made on his life. The first was on a chilly gray morning on December 17th in the winter of 2012. He received a collect call from Sing Sing from an individual stating that he was going to kill him and that he won't see it coming. In the several months since, in the early morning hours when fear gets the best of him, and this happens all the time, like clockwork ticking in the back of his mind, wondering if one day, if his life would be taken away from him, and if that horrible ticking that keeps haunting him would ever stop. Scared, alone, and afraid because his life was in danger, he began writing. But in the summer of 2013, his life changed forever. He woke up in the hospital in agony from being crushed between two cars, wearing a Philadelphia collar around his neck, steel wrist splints on both wrists, a cast from his right knee down to his toes, and left confined to a scooter for mobility. He knew then that his life would never be the same again. At this point, desperate to reveal his story before the possibility of his ultimate demise, since he didn't have the use of his hands, he began frantically dictating to his computer, and this evolved into the foundational platform for this book based on true events. Who okayed this? The Riveting Life of Grant Davis. Available everywhere books are sold. Visit philipebarrington.com.
Hi, Brian Craig here. I'm in studio with my wife, Kathy, and she's here to tell you about her experience with the My Pillow mattress topper.
Well, as you know, Brian, I was waking up in pain almost every morning for years and years, and we had bought a new mattress not that long ago, but it still was not doing the trick. So I said to you, let's get the My Pillow mattress topper, and let's see if it helps or makes any kind of a difference. And I have to tell you, after sleeping on it just one night, I woke up, no pain. I felt incredible. It made a huge difference for me. And the pain has not returned.
Wow, that's absolutely amazing. Now go to MyPillow.com and order your MyPillow mattress topper and do what Kathy and I did. Use the promo code KANE at checkout, KANE. And this is an incredible deal because with the promo code KANE, you will save 30% off the MyPillow mattress topper and get 2 free My Pillows. But you've got to use the promo code KANE at checkout, KANE. It comes in every size too, from twin all the way up to California King. That's promo code KANE, KANE, at MyPillow.com.
From author Sherry Chapman comes the book A Killer Revisited, available on Amazon. Detective Jules Polton is one of the best at tracking down murderers, but something beyond her experience came to Edmond, Oklahoma. When the serial killer reaches out in a cryptic letter, it reveals a government conspiracy at the highest level. Will she be able to stop an army experiment gone rogue? Find out when you read A Killer Revisited. If you love thrillers, you will love this book. With a well-thought-out plot, lots of twists and turns, it will keep you engaged and captivated. This is a true thriller from beginning to end. A Killer Revisited from author Sherry Chapman, available on Amazon. Order your copy right now.
You are listening to the Brian Craig Show podcast, broadcasting from sunny South Florida. Brian is joined by his wife and co-host, Kathy. Follow Brian on social media at BrianCraigShow.com. And now, Brian and Kathy.
Welcome to the program, everyone. Thanks for tuning in. Now,
I just want to say one thing real quick that's really not political, but interesting to me. Natalie Wood, she's
Natalie Wood.
She's a very famous actress.
Well, she was.
And her whole life, she died in her 40s, and there's a lot of mystery around that and all this stuff. Her sister, who is 8 years younger than her, she's in her 70s now or something. She's written a new book. She said that Kirk Douglas sexually assaulted Natalie Wood in a hotel room.
What?
Natalie Wood was taken to the Marmont Char, whatever, that big hotel in L.A., Chateau Marmont. Natalie Wood's mom took her there when she was 16 to the hotel, and she went up to another girl going up to a hotel room, went up to Kirk Douglas's hotel room, and she said the mom and her waited in the car for hours while she was up in his room, and she came back in the car very disheveled and crying, and she told her mom that he hurt her. She was 16, and the mom said, "Suck it up." It sounded like the mom was pimping her out to people in Hollywood. That's awful. I hope that's not true because I love Kirk Douglas. But that was like, I guess that was the culture. And then another autobiography, Karen Grassley, Mrs. Ingalls, which I love those books, and I love what Michael Landon. She said that Michael Landon was very mean, controlling, and made very inappropriate jokes about women and comments on the set, and that she said she asked for a raise. She's got a new book coming out. Asked for a raise after her second year, or during the second year of the show, and he refused. She got paid what the child actors got paid, and she said after she asked for that, he stopped cutting her. He started cutting her out of the shows and writing her in less and less. So just two interesting little Hollywood tidbits about two of my favorite actors that, apparently it's interesting. It's a different time. I'm not excusing that kind of behavior. And I don't know if it's true or not. The guys are long gone. They can't defend themselves. But like I said, I'm not defending it, but it was a culture back then. And especially like when Natalie Wood in the 50s or whatever. And, I keep saying, don't go to a guy's hotel room. Just ladies, it's stupid.
That's a good idea.
Stupid.
That's a good idea. Remember that Mike Tyson went to prison over that.
It seems to be a common thread in these stories in Hollywood. Maybe a lot of deals are made in hotel rooms, but why is Kirk Douglas at a hotel room in L.A.? He has a home in L.A. Because why? His wife's at the house.
Probably.
So why the hell is he, and why is she going up there? Do you think she knew what was going to happen?
That's why Harvey Weinstein is like, why am I in jail? This is what's been going on forever. I don't understand why they're picking on me.
Exactly.
Well, the way it works now, I've said this many times, and it's true. If you are a single man, and this will sound so ridiculous, but these are different times we're in. If you're a single man, before you have sex with a woman, you need to have her give you consent on your iPhone and record a video of her giving consent, because they could come and then you have to save it forever.
What if she changes her mind right after she made
She
the
could come, and if you get successful 30 years later, she can come after you.
That's a horrible idea, Brian, because if a guy gets a woman to do that, then he can do whatever the hell he wants to her. That's a crazy idea.
I think it's dangerous out there for guys. It is very dangerous out there for guys these days.
Well, there's a lot of women that make false allegations for sure and take advantage, and there are women in Hollywood that use their sexuality, like Trump said, they'll let you do anything to get ahead. And there are women that use their sexuality in all kinds of lines of work to get ahead, and don't deny it, they do. And there's probably men that do it too. That's been around since the beginning of time. And but I think back in the 40s and 50s and even 60s and maybe 70s, I think women were treated very poorly, especially in Hollywood. I'm sure it was extremely common for women to be treated that way. But you know what? Natalie Wood didn't have to be in that business. She knew she knew the kind of business. She'd been an actor since she was a kid. She was in Miracle on 34th Street when she was 10 years old. Mm-hmm. So I'm sure he wasn't the first person she encountered. But I wonder if his son will say anything about this. I mean, he wouldn't know. He wasn't there. Yeah.
Why should he?
Probably.
They just bring more attention to it.
He lived to be 103, Kirk Douglas. Mm-hmm. He's a great actor.
Now, I want to just mention this thing with Meghan Markle calling senators.
Oh, God,
okay?
yes.
Okay. Now, she was calling.
Speaking of actors.
Yeah, well.
If you can call her that.
I've never seen her act. She was calling U.S. senators and asking them to support like family leave or paternity leave or whatever it was. And she called some information came out about this today. She called these senators and she called them with her number blocked, and she called these senators on their private cell phones. And when they answered, she said, "This is Meghan, the Duchess of," what is she, the Duchess of Sussex?
Yes.
If I answered the phone and on the line was a woman who said, "This is Meghan, the Duchess of Sussex," I would say, who? I mean, in America, who knows who the Duchess of Sussex is? And I only put her name to that because it was in the news today, and it shows you really her arrogance.
Nobody cares what she thinks.
Well, I was watching Fox today, and they had one of the male pundits. I don't remember who it was. It was a guy who was a pundit, and he said something that I thought was spot on with this. He thinks that she is filming some type of documentary for Netflix or something, and these phone calls are part of it, that they were so strange and so bizarre that she's trying to make she's making a documentary probably with Harry where they're just the heroes of America. Listen, we kicked out the royals. We had the American Revolution. No more kings.
There is nobody more
we don't
out
want the Duchess of Sussex.
That's right, no more
here.
kings, just like in Schoolhouse Rock.
That's right.
There's nobody more out of touch than Harry Windsor.
Oh
and
my
that's
gosh.
not his fault,
Yeah.
okay? He grew up literally in like a castle.
Yeah, exactly.
And had a very sheltered.
Yeah.
Now I know he was in the military, but I'm sure he was still protected and sheltered, and everybody kissing his butt everywhere he went. He is extremely woke. His wife has him on a short leash. I think he turned in his man card when he met her, but he does whatever she says, and she rules that house for sure. But they had a guy, a senator on Fox, talking about it today. He was laughing. He said, look, she has a right to call people as an American citizen. He said, but nobody cares what she says.
Well, I don't know about that.
You can call your senator.
No, well, she wasn't calling them at the office. She was calling them with her number blocked on their cell phones. And it came out.
Interesting.
It came out that Senator Gillibrand, that Democrat lady, she gave Meghan Markle the senator's cell phone numbers, which is a really violation.
Wow, that is.
So calling someone like that on their cell phone, especially if it's a stunt like this guy thinks on Fox for some Netflix documentary or something, no, I don't think she's got a right to do that. I think that's really sneaky and lowlife what she was doing.
Well, I don't. She wants them to do something with the Family Leave Act. First of all, her and Harry have no jobs, so I don't know what they're leaving exactly. If they have family leave pay, what are they leaving? They don't work. And she has nannies, I'm sure, that take care of her 2 kids.
She lives next door to Oprah,
I mean,
right?
it's absolutely
Or Gayle
absurd.
King. They live next door to Gayle King.
They're all in Santa Barbara, where the homes are about $15 million apiece. It's amazing to me how a person who has nannies that take care of her children, he's married to a prince, lives in a $20 million home. She's worth about $50 million or $100 million. And she's trying to tell people that they need to have, telling businesses they have to give family leave and pay for it.
Yeah.
For husbands and wives. There is no need for, if you're a married couple, I'm sorry, there's no need for both parents to take family leave. There's no need for that.
No.
You can make it work. And that's how I feel. I feel like they're blurring the lines of traditional places for men and women. They're blurring genders. They're blurring the lines. I don't think if you have a wife and a father, you can decide maybe, okay, who should take off work. Maybe the person who makes the most money should stay at work, and if you can, and then the other person, I don't know. But I don't think there's any need for 2 parents to take off.
Well, and
I'm sorry, I just don't.
And Prince Harry and Meghan Markle, they're not even U.S. citizens.
Did she give up her?
She had to give up her U.S. citizenship to marry him.
Well, then screw her.
So
She's not even American.
now all of a sudden they want to be. It tells you how arrogant she is, that she thinks that she's got like a role to play. I remember when who was the princess that was Prince Andrew's wife? Fergie.
Fergie, yeah.
Okay, Fergie was very popular in the United States for a while, and when she divorced Andrew, although they're back together now. When she divorced Andrew, she had a talk show that failed that was on TV for a little while, and she had a little run of celebrity over here. Yeah. She had a daytime talk show.
I did not remember that.
Yeah, after she left Prince Andrew.
Must have been very short.
But it was short-lived. But people liked her, and I guess, and they liked Diana, and people were interested in Diana.
I liked Fergie, yeah.
No one's interested in Meghan Markle.
No. She is very uninteresting.
And Prince Harry, and they just think that they're so important.
No, they're the most boring couple around.
Well, they really are boring. They did that interview with Oprah Winfrey, and they are the 2 most uninteresting people I've ever seen on an Oprah Winfrey interview.
And he's got serious issues with his family. And I understand he's dealing with trauma from his mother. Okay, she died when he was 12, and according to a lot of things, the royals did not handle. He feels that they didn't protect her, and I understand that. His whole thing is when she and Charles got a divorce, that they cut her loose and they did not protect her. And if they would have protected her, she'd be alive. And I think he could make that argument because once she left the fold, she was pretty much on her own. And she was the most high-profile person in the world at the time, Diana, and I understand where he's coming from. So he has a lot of anger towards his father and his family. And I think personally, they love to blame Meghan for taking him away. I think he's using her to get out of England. I think he wanted to leave, and I don't think he ever wanted to be a part of that family. But when he did that interview, he really threw them under the bus.
Well,
and I thought
you know
that
what
was
part
kind
of it is?
Despite all that, I thought that was a crappy thing to do.
He grew up without his mother, and now he's got a new mother. Well, listen, we are all out of time. But thanks for tuning in, everyone. I'm Brian Craig, always joined by my wife and co-host Kathy. We'll talk to you next time.
Are you looking for a new book series that your kids will love and that the entire family can enjoy together? The Twins Mac and Maddie series from author and identical twin Linda Heron is just what you've been looking for. Twins Mac and Maddie storybooks are charming, fun, spirited, full of love, and include beautiful illustrations. The author knows all too well the joys and challenges of having another person look just like her. She's navigated some of the nuances and complexities of being a twin in a way a young child can grasp. Her stories will spark important conversations about individuality, challenges, and the blessings of being a twin. These books are helpful to all twin children, parents of twins, teachers, and social workers to help everyone identify with the twin experiences. Right now, there are 3 books in the series: Twins Mac and Maddie's Birthday, Twins Mac and Maddie Get Sporty, and Twins Mac and Maddie's Vacation. You can get all 3 on Amazon and on the author's website, twinsmacandmaddie.com.